Welcome back, dear viewers. Ramadan and the dilemma of disrupted sleep. What is insomnia? Insomnia is when you aren't sleeping as you should. This can mean you aren't sleeping enough, you aren't sleeping well, or you are having trouble falling or staying asleep. For some people, insomnia is a minor inconvenience. For others, insomnia can be a major disruption. So let's all welcome Dr. Ayesha Kamal, a psychotherapist, about insomnia and sleep talking. It's really a pleasure to have you in Good Morning Kuwait, Dr. Ayesha.
Thank you so much for having me.
So it's called insomnia, correct?
Yes, that's right, insomnia.
Insomnia, so disrupted sleep during Ramadan. So is it insomnia also?
That's a really good question. So insomnia is definitely difficulty falling asleep, but I think when we're talking about Ramadan, it's more about disrupted sleep. So insomnia is when we have our usual routine, but we can't sleep during our usual routine.
Okay.
Right? But Ramadan, we know that our routine is going to be different.
Definitely, yeah.
So it's understandable that we can have some difficulty sleeping because we are staying up later, we're waking up in the middle of the night, we have social occasions, so everything is kind of upside down.
Yeah.
So it's understandable that we can struggle with falling asleep, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's clinical insomnia.
Okay,
Yes.
I see. So managing fatigue during Ramadan, I mean, is this like, you know, we can't, like, how can we manage fatigue in Ramadan?
That's a really good question because I think throughout the day we have these lulls of feeling really, really tired.
Yeah.
And I think part of managing fatigue has to do with, first of all, understanding what makes us tired, right? When is it during the day that I'm feeling the most tired? When am I feeling most energized? And the managing part means that we want to manage our energy so that it fits those. So if you find that, okay, later in the evening I am feeling more alert, then maybe that's when you take on some more cognitive tasks so that you feel more alert.
I see.
Whereas in the day, if you have the flexibility, you know that you're feeling tired and you can rest, then you want to rest that way. So it's about being flexible with your routine and seeing how can you capitalize on your energy levels. But the first thing is definitely paying attention. What gives you energy? When are you most energetic? And then also the opposite. When are you most tired? And what depletes your energy? So if talking with a lot of people you find very draining, then maybe that's something you want to manage and control during the day or even the evening, if possible. And we want to kind of make adjustments that way.
That's definitely a good way of, you know, well said. But out of context, you know, what do you think of the nap?
I think naps are essential.
Seriously?
Yes, I do think naps are essential.
You know, like in Kuwait, you've been...
I've been here for most of my life.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes.
So, you know, most of the Kuwaitis, you know, they have a nap after, you know, coming back from work. You think nap is good?
I think it's good as long as it is for a limited amount of time.
Yeah, it doesn't go long hours.
Right, definitely.
So half an hour?
Half an hour would be amazing. 20 minutes to 40 minutes, I think, is a perfect nap.
The perfect nap.
And one of the things with napping that can really help is when we're consistent. So when our body knows that, okay, at 4:30, they're going to go to sleep for 20 minutes, then it's like already prepared to accept this rest. Versus if we wait until we're exhausted to then go to sleep, it's not as recuperative because we're already so tired.
Indeed.
Right? So it's also about being a little bit strategic with your naps.
Yeah, that takes me, you know, to the Western life. You know, for example, the Western routines in Europe and North America, for example. You know, people work from, you know, early morning until, you know, let's say, almost to the sunset. You know, we're talking about like 4:30. So until the time he reaches home, it's 5. So how? I mean, in their cases, nap is very essential, but they don't have time to have.
So I would say that if you don't have time to nap, then try to find time to intentionally rest.
Okay.
Right? So it's like finding little pockets during your day when you can say, you know what, for 10 minutes, I'm just going to sit. I'm going to sit outside. I'm going to take a breather. I'm not going to scroll through my phone. I'm just going to disconnect and actually let myself take a break. So it's okay. Not all of us have the luxury of taking a nap during the day. So it's not that it's essential. I think if you can take a nap, absolutely take a nap. But if not, then definitely planning rest.
Even 10 minutes is good.
Even 10 minutes is good. Even 10 minutes is good because it's like giving yourself a reset, right? Saying that, you know what, I'm taking a time out, I'm pressing pause on my life, and I'm just going to try and relax.
Anchoring habits that can help manage exhaustion.
So let's say when it comes to Ramadan, there are two things that come to mind. One is actually taking this nap or finding time to rest. And again, setting a time ahead of time, that this is the time when I want to shut down and take a break from everything. And the other thing is having consistent patterns as much as possible. So it's not so much about going to sleep at the same time, because I think that's very variable during Ramadan. But actually, if you're waking up in the middle of the night, let's say for Sahur or for Fajr prayer, then waking up at the same time, even on weekends. So when the body knows that, okay, at 3:30 a.m. or 4 a.m., I'm going to be getting up, then again, it's prepared. So we want to really understand that our mind and body are connected. When we have consistency, then our body knows what the pattern is. But when we're erratic with our behaviors and we're sleeping at different times, waking up at different times, napping at different times, then our body is in this constant state of alertness. Are we going to sleep now? Are we going to rest? Are we going to be stimulated? So having consistency is a really good anchoring habit.
I don't know, there is a saying, says, tell me how do you sleep, I'll tell you what kind of person you are.
Oh, okay.
And it's famous for I forgot the name of who said it, you know, but it's true to a certain,
yes. But it's one of the challenging things that we have, because our days are quite flexible, and you know, there are not many people, especially here where there's a lot of nightlife.
Exactly.
Right? So we want to be social, we want to be with the family.
Especially in the summer.
Especially in the
Kuwait,
summer.
you
Yeah,
know,
long
life
nights.
starts, you know, afternoon, honestly.
Exactly.
And that's totally kills, you know, the good sleeping habit, unfortunately. So food and caffeine, you know, and the way or what or when we eat, you know, can affect our sleep. So
for sure, caffeine is a big one, right? So if we take also, again, Ramadan, you know, when we're fasting during the day, you have to think about, well, when am I going to have my caffeine? Especially when you think that I need it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you feel like you need caffeine?
Yeah, when during the day, definitely in Ramadan, and even in regular times, you know, when you have a good breakfast meal, definitely after 2 hours, you need coffee. I don't know, it's like very essential.
So that's one of the things, though. Caffeine is addictive. We feel like we need it. And caffeine stays in our body for 6 to 8 hours after ingestion. So even if we think that, okay, I'm going to have a cup of coffee at 6 p.m., it's going to stay in your body till at least midnight. And that's what leads to disrupted sleep.
Then, Dr. Ayesha, explain for me why a lot of people, and I've you know come across a lot of people of these kind of human beings. They say, "Give me coffee now," and believe it or not, I will sleep at the time I used to. So it means, you know, sometimes caffeine doesn't affect, you know, those people.
Different people.
Or there is a misconception, or what's going on here?
I think that there are some people who can metabolize caffeine differently. And I'd be very curious, though, for these people, when they sleep, is it good quality sleep? Is it restful sleep? Is it sustained sleep? Or is it that, yes, I can fall asleep because I'm exhausted, versus I'm going to fall asleep because I'm resting, I'm being intentional about it, and my body is really ready to shut down.
So, additional things that interrupt sleep, such as scrolling in bed. Is that true?
Absolutely. Scrolling, I would say, is the #1 habit that is really disrupting our sleep. And so one of the most effective things to do is really have a time where you're going to shut down and not use any digital devices. And this should be at least an hour or so before you go to bed. So many times we think that, you know what, it's the end of the day, I just want to sit down or lie down and scroll, disconnect, and kind of disengage with my day and get lost in the world of social media. But the thing is that when we are on social media, then we're getting all of this input. our brain is still activated, it's curious, it's interested, it's distracted. So it's very difficult to actually wind down when we're feeding it with so much information.
Okay.
Right? So social media is one of the big things that can disrupt sleep. Eating very late, eating foods that contain caffeine or contain a lot of sugar, these are things that can disrupt us. And one of the other things is also worrying about the next day. What time will I wake up? What am I going to do? I have all of these things. So these types of worries can also disrupt our sleep.
So ways to calm the brain before bed.
That's a really good question. I think for me personally, I would say that I have a pretty consistent wind down routine, right? So try and think about things that are going to relax you, that are going to bring you calm and help you forget the day that's been and just be in the moment. So a bit of meditation, mindful breathing, sometimes some light reading. And again, I have to say it, turning off your digital devices. Don't scroll.
Watching a movie.
Watching a movie can be good.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, I think it
Better
can be
than,
good.
scrolling the rails.
I think so because it's a little bit more fixed. You know, there's a one storyline versus when you're scrolling, you get every 30 seconds you have something new.
So mindset shift to help accommodate the changes.
So when it comes to our changes in sleep during Ramadan, one of the big things would be understanding and accepting that this is a time of change. For 1 month, our routine will be disrupted. So instead of trying to keep your old routine and bring it into the month, it's about finding a new routine that's going to suit the changes that come with this month.
Dr. Ayesha Kamal, it's really a pleasure, having you in Good Morning Kuwait, and unfortunately we are out of time, but it's really a pleasure. I hope to see you more in, coming episodes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Dear viewers, that was Dr. Ayesha Kamal, a psychotherapist. So we'll go for a break, and after that, we'll be back, so don't go away.